Go big or go home. We got a ton of NFL player props for week 3. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we're back to talk some more NFL player props. Week 3 is here. I am fired up, ready to go. I have been locked in since that rough week 2. Player props wise, we were just so-so last week. It was the game bets that got us, but I love the game bets. I love the slate for the player props today. If you're looking for those game bets, that video is out now, so go check that out. But we went on a couple huge runs in the NFL player props last season. I'm confident we can do it again. And why not just start it right now? Week 3. Let's get it done. But before we get into anything, if you don't know already, any graphics you see in this video are from an app called OUTLIER. It's unbelievable. It's been a huge help for my betting here in the last 4 or 5 months, however long I've been using it. And it's helped turn our MLB season around. Let's be honest with you. It's just a one-stop shop for all your betting research needs. If it helps you win one bet, it's worth it. I mean, really, it's not that much at all, especially compared to other apps out there. You click that link below in the description and just try out that free trial. You got nothing to lose. Check it out and see if it can help you in all different sports. So that's what we got. Let's get into it, though. I'm ready. It starts with the NFL fun fact. I got 2 of them for you. So it's all back in the day. So here we go. 1976 Buccaneers had more players on the injured reserve than touchdowns scored. That's bad. 17 on the IR and 15 touchdowns. You guys all remember that. 1976, the year before 77. In 1943, the Eagles and Steelers, 1943, Eagles and Steelers merged to form one team. No joke, they were called the Steagles. You can't even make it up. I laugh saying it out loud. It was during the war. Lots of players and coaches were in the war. They didn't have a lot of players, so they had to join forces. They played at their home games divided between Shibe Park and Forbes Field. Wow, that's crazy. That's like 2 tiny high schools that decided to join together. Anyways, in this video, we have our best NFL player props, and we got a lot of them. And then, of course, actually we have 4, not 3 this time. Best anytime touchdown props, and then we'll finish it with the recap. It's simple, but let's get some winners today. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you have any time at all, leave a comment, even if it's just a logo. Helps the algorithm, helps this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as we're on our way to 29,000 subscribers. Let's get into it. And that means it's player prop time. All right, let's get it started with a 1-unit play. Marvin Harrison Jr. over 59.5 receiving yards at -130 on ESPN Bet. I absolutely love this bet. The rookie, you saw what he did last year, but he could have been way better. So he caught 4 of 8 targets for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm expecting more efficiency as we move along in this season. Hopefully that starts with week 3 because he only caught 50% of his passes, obviously. And the Cardinals put an absolute beatdown on the Rams last week. What does that mean? That means the passing game was practically non-existent in the fourth quarter because they didn't need to. They were just crushing them. Kyler Murray only threw 21 times that game. James Conner, 21 carries. This is going to be a different game script. And even with that small game script, as you saw, 130 yards. This guy is special. He has the talent. The connection and the blowout, honestly, this could have been a game if it was a close game and they threw the ball a lot more. He could have had 200 yards. I mean, easily. So Harrison's advanced numbers now last week. He had the 6th most air yards in the NFL at 150. A ridiculous ADOT, average depth of target, at 18.75. That is pretty dang good. That obviously, if you want to know what that means, it just means he's not running just dink and dunk routes. When he catches it, he can get some big chunk yards. He also had the highest percentage of his own team's air yards in week 2. Or sorry, second highest. 70% of his team's air yards were to him. Only Malik Neighbors had higher at 75%. So this total is the highest slate in the entire in week 3 in general. It's a 51.5 total. We're expecting lots of points in this one. I doubt the Cardinals blow them out. I actually, to be honest, it's not a best bet this week, but I do think the Lions win and cover. I think they come back after a loss. But I mean, if we're going to see Kyler Murray throw like 30 times, I mean, his volume is going to go up even more, and that's about where his pass attempts line is also. Harrison faces the Lions defense. In week 2, allowed 117 yards to Chris Godwin. Week 1, 110 yards to Cooper Kupp, as well as 79 receiving yards to Tyler Johnson. And then as you can see from this screenshot with OUTLIER right here, the Lions are dead last in receiving yards allowed to the wide receiver position. That's right. I mean, this is as good of a matchup as any. And then other than Hutchison, there hasn't been a ton of pressure on the quarterback from this Lions team. And then the Lions run defense. Can be important when you're doing this, but Lions are one of the best run defenses in the entire league. No question about it. They're going to end up top 3. They're allowing the third fewest yards per attempt on the ground at 3.3. Opposing quarterbacks have thrown it on average 34 times versus the Lions in the first 2 weeks. So I like Harrison to have a big game. There shouldn't be a blowout, should be more competitive. And the Cards, if they want to move the ball, they're not going to be able to run on this Detroit team. So I expect a ton of volume, hopefully some higher efficiency. But honestly, even if he just has higher volume, that should be plenty enough because this guy can get some chunk yards. So give me Harrison over 59.5 yards. And we're going to talk about a possible ladder on him a little bit later in the show. But that is my bet number 1. All right, prop number 2 is another wide receiver from the Ohio State University. We got Chris Olave over 61.5 receiving yards at -113 on FanDuel. This is a 1-unit play for me. So I think we're getting a great buy low spot here because the Saints, let's face it, have just been historic on offense. They've been running the ball like crazy and running all over teams. And it's been a blowout. So the pass volume's been low. That's why I think we're getting a low number here. But let's talk about the competition. The Eagles. I'm going to be honest, guys. The Eagles' defense stinks. Let's just say it. I don't think enough people are saying it. They are not impressive at all. I don't get why everyone thinks this team is really good because they're just not. They've been struggling since like the middle of last season. But they've now given up the 6th most pass yards per game this season. They give up a ton of plays in the middle of the field, and that's going to be huge for Olave. And if you haven't watched the Saints yet, my goodness, the coordinator has them absolutely motoring right now. And what I love about it, there's a ton of pre-snap motion, which is going to avoid him getting pressed or anything like that. He's going to be going back and forth, running all over the field. I just love how they use Olave and really a lot of these players. But in week 2, Olave, his ADOT was a little over 13 last week, and he had a very high 37.5% target share. I mean, that's what you love to see for this low number, especially. In week 1, they played the horrendous Panthers. They didn't need Olave or really anybody in the passing game. So I'd kind of just throw that game out. But Derek Carr only attempted 23 and 16 passes in the first 2 weeks. It's kind of like Kyler Murray when we talked about prop number 1. If the Eagles can slow down the Saints' run game, his volume should go up. If this is a close game, which the Saints have not played in a close game yet, his volume should go up. And if you look at the DraftKings line, Carr's pass attempts line is 30.5. He's only had 16 and 23 passes the first 2 games. If his volume like doubles from week 1 to 30, 31 passes, that's going to be a ton of volume. Chris Olave is a guy that should not be having this low of line. This is a great buy low spot here. So Carr 30 times. They don't blow the Eagles out. Could they blow the Eagles out? Of course they could. But if they don't, I really love this number. I think Olave is going to get a ton of volume. He has a great matchup here against a weak secondary. And let's face it, an Eagles defensive line that really doesn't get a lot of pressure either. So give me Olave over 61.5 receiving yards with a possible ladder that we will also talk about later. But now let's move on to prop number 3. Before we get to that next best bet, we got to tell you about our partner, Bet Any Sports, guys. This is an awesome website. Here's what you get with it. There's just a ton. This is a kind of a one-stop shop. If you want to do sports betting, you can do it here. And they got reduced juice lines to get those line discounts. If you'd like to play casino games, you can explore 10 online casinos with games like blackjack, roulette, slots, and much more. And also, how about free league live streams? It's not just watch every NFL game live. How about basketball, baseball, soccer? They have it all. And right now, if you use that link below in the description to sign up, you get a promo, 30% cash bonus right now. It's not going to last forever. And then, of course, they have a lotto platform. If you'd like to bet on horses, they got horse races all over the country and the world. It's a ton of fun, guys. We are having a lot of fun using it right now. So if you want to join Bet Any Sports, either that link below or use that QR code right there on the page. So, all right, back to the bets. All right, this third one is the most exciting prop of the weekend, without a doubt. Give me Young Wei Koo over 1.5 field goals at -110 on DraftKings. 1-unit play on Sunday Night Football for the kicker. That's right. Koo is a stud, if you don't know about him. But this Falcons offense will continue to improve, in my opinion. We talked about it a little bit in the game bets. And I still didn't, even though I like what I saw from Atlanta, I didn't love their red zone offense. And that's huge for field goal props, obviously, but they've scored a touchdown on only 40% of their red zone trips so far, 2 in 5 trips. Week 1 against a good Steelers defense, Cousins' first game, it was just ugly in general, but Koo still got it down. But the Chiefs, They're a great matchup as well. They have allowed some yards this season, that's for sure. But they've clamped down when it came to the red zone. They have allowed 8 red zone trips this season, and only 3 have turned into touchdowns. So that's pretty impressive. They've also allowed the second most field goal attempts this season. Obviously, those go hand in hand. If you have a good red zone defense, you're going to give up a lot of field goal kicks. The first 2 opponents to the Chiefs, Justin Tucker, 3 field goal attempts. Evan McPherson of the Bengals, 4 field goal attempts. I mean, it's been quite a bit. Now, Younghoe Koo, exactly 32 for 37 in field goals the last 2 seasons, 23 for 31 from 50 plus yards out in his career, and he's 20 for his last 22 kicks at home since the start of last season. You are welcome for all the kicking stats. He loves kicking at home. Koo's been getting the job done already. Let's have it happen again. Give me Koo over 1.5 field goals as my third best bet. All right, prop number 4, we are taking a chance. We have a plus 160 banger. Give me Devon Achane, 5+ receptions. We're going to throw a unit at this one. So his real line is 3.5. I loved it. I wanted to bet it so bad, and then every single book said, you know what, we're going to give you minus 145, minus 150 for Achane, over 3.5 catches. And you know what, I think he's going to get more. I thought it was a possible ladder, so I thought, let's just go to 5+ receptions here, because Bet365 right now has plus 160. It is insane. Incredible value here. Obviously, plus 160, a little bit more of a long shot here, but let's talk about Devon Achane. 7 catches in week 1. 7 catches in week 2. The most catches in the NFL right now by a running back. It's hard to know the matchup yet, how good it is against the Seahawks. It's a whole new, regime, coaching scheme, and all that. And they played the Broncos and the Patriots offenses. 2 of the worst offenses in the NFL, obviously. They do not have the weapons. They have nobody near the talent of Devon Achane. And the Seahawks didn't have to worry about anything else. Well, now they worry about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as well. So now, most people think, let's go under on every Dolphins prop because Skylar Thompson is the quarterback. Maybe you're right when it comes to receivers, but this is absolutely insane, guys. He is a dump-off machine in his career. He's played a decent amount in his career. His career running back target share, the amount of times he throws to running backs, is 27%. That is over a quarter of his passes are going to the running back. That is higher than any NFL quarterback that started week 1 this season. He would be the number 1. He loves to throw to the running back. In comparison, Tua, 19%. So, on all honesty, this change to Skylar is actually an upgrade. And even with Tua, who doesn't throw as much to the running back, he still had 7 catches in week 1 or week 2. I love this. I like his over receiving yards as well. Maybe a ladder there as he's absolutely crushed it. But give me Devon Achane, 5+ catches at plus 160 as my 4th best bet. All right, this 5th one, before we get to that alt line parlay, is Bucky Irving. Of course, over 27.5 rush yards at minus 130 on BetMGM. This can be a half unit play for me. Yes, this is the backup running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You are correct. We are betting on that. But he's been the better running back through 2 weeks. It's not even been close. Rachaad White has not looked good. He hasn't been efficient. He has 25 carries for 49 yards. Rachaad White is averaging 2 yards a carry. Yep, I did the math for you. Just about 2 yards. Bucky Irving, 16 carries for 84 yards, averaging 5.3 yards per carry. Now, last week, obviously these are small sample sizes, but last week they both struggled. Of course they did. It doesn't matter to me. They played the Detroit Lions. It's the best defensive line when it comes to stuffing the run and linebackers and all that. So, but here's the deal. You need the volume. Bucky Irving got 9 and 7 carries the first 2 weeks. So I think he starts to get more and more as he's looked really good as a rookie. Let's just split the difference. Let's say he gets 8 carries this game, right? All he needs is 3.5 yards per carry versus the Broncos' run defense to get this. Denver's defense allowed Najee Harris to get 69 yards. Backup Jaylen Warren for 42 rush yards. Allowed Kenneth Walker to run for 103 yards, averaging 5.2 yards per carry. They are not a good run defense. We know that. They weren't last year. They weren't this year. If you remember, they gave up 1 million to the Dolphins at one game last year as well. But if this ends up being a Bucs blowout, it could be. I actually think somehow the Broncos keep it close. But if it is a blowout, Bucky's probably going to get more carries. It's actually going to help him as a rookie getting in there some more. But I know it's weird betting on a backup player, and sometimes there's a little risk to it because it's low volume. So when he's in there, he's got to take advantage of those carries that he gets. But I love this one. I think the line's too low. Give me Bucky Irving over 27.5 rush yards as my 5th best bet. And now let's check out the alt line parlay. All right, I know how much you guys love some parlays, and we're going to take a chance this weekend. That's right. I'm going to throw just a quarter unit on this. You guys do whatever you want if you do want to tail it. I wasn't planning on it, but it is an all Ohio State parlay. It's the two players I already talked about. Give me Chris Olave and Marvin Harrison, 80 plus receiving yards each at plus 605, guys. This is some great value at plus 605. We already talked about it. I don't have a lot to say. Olave is going up against the Eagles. I talked about that matchup and the target share that Olave has. And then Marvin Harrison against this Lions secondary. It's just, I think we should see a lot of points in these games. And as long as the Saints kind of play close with the Eagles and don't blow them out, same with the Cardinals as well. I like this one. I'm just sprinkling a quarter unit, obviously, but let's have some fun. Let's get a big winner at plus 605. That's the ladder parlay. And now let's talk the anytime touchdowns. All right, we got 4 of them for you this weekend. Had a good week 1, and then last week we did not. So let's bounce back here. These are a quarter unit each. These are not all together in one parlay. Obviously, you guys might do something like that, but just want to let you know. First one, Devon Achane, we talked about a little bit. Plus 100 on DK. He is going to be leaned on immensely. He has a rush receiving total on the books of over 100 yards for a reason. Already has 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. He had 22 carries last game because Raheem Mostert was out, and Mostert looks like he is going to be out again. In fact, with him out last week, he had a 70% rush rate. Now facing a Seahawks defense, they give up 1 touchdown to the Patriots. Leonard Williams may not play this game. Good run stuffer for them. Like I said, the Seahawks have played 2 terrible offenses so far, but Achane is explosive. He can score on absolutely any carry. One of the most explosive running backs in the first few years of his career in NFL history. It's absolutely insane. He averaged 7.8 yards per carry last season with 11 touchdowns. This guy can find the end zone. I love the even money for the number 1 running back, Devon Achane. Second one, David Montgomery. This is minus 110. Obviously, I like to give out plus money, but minus 110 on FanDuel. I thought this should be like minus 150 and not even really playable. He has scored in week 1 and in week 2 so far. He's actually scored in 13 of 17 games last season. So if my math tells me the right thing, that's 15 of 19 games. That's right. Not too bad at all. And now we're getting practically an even money almost. He's the goal line back if you haven't watched the Lions. He's the red zone back for the most part. This game has the highest total on the board, like we talked about. Lions team total is set around 27 points. It's there for a reason. They are going to score some touchdowns against this Arizona defense. I'm not sure why this touchdown machine and David Montgomery's odds are not higher, so I will take it at minus 110. That is the second touchdown bet. Third one, Tony Pollard. That's right, of the Tennessee Titans. I almost said Dallas Cowboys. Plus 110 on DraftKings. Tajay Spears is questionable to play. Even if he does, I don't think he's going to get a ton of carries with how he's been practicing and everything. I expect Pollard to get a ton of them. In fact, he has 38 carries through 2 weeks already with 1 touchdown, and he now faces that Swiss cheese defense of the Green Bay Packers, bottom 10 run defense as they have been for quite a while now. Allowed 103 rushing yards to Jonathan Taylor on 12 carries, 109 rush yards to Saquon, including 2 touchdowns in week 1. This is a high volume running back versus a very bad run defense. Plus, if you're the Titans coach and you saw him react on the sideline, you know the less that Will Levis has the ball in his hands, the better. So let's just face it. Let's hope that Pollard gets a touchdown. The fourth one is kind of more of my long shot because I'm taking some shots this weekend, if you can't tell. It's the rookie, Brock Bowers, anytime touchdown, plus 240 on FanDuel, the tight end for the Las Vegas Raiders. These are crazy odds for what I think is already one of the best tight ends in the entire league. This guy is an absolute stud. He has the most catches on the team, 15 catches on 17 targets, the highest volume guy as a pass catcher on this team, and we're getting plus 240 for a touchdown on FanDuel. He had 9 catches for 98 yards last week. It's only a matter of time before he just finds the end zone because he's a huge part of this offense. And now he's facing the Panthers. What could be better than that? They get the least pressure on a quarterback in the league. They allowed 2 different Saints tight ends to score in their week 1 game. Have to bite on this one. Brock Bowers plus 240. Might as well be right there when it hits because you know he's going to be a guy who scores some touchdowns. So those are all 4 of my anytime touchdown bets, my 5-player props, my alt line ladder parlay. Let's get some winners, guys. Let's have a great Sunday. But before we wrap it up, let's check out the recap. Here is the full player prop card for NFL Week 3. I meant to go less volume, but that's just not how it worked. And we got we took some chances. Plus 160 there with Achane. 605 ladder parlay, and then all those touchdown bets. So we got Harrison over 59.5 receiving yards, Olave over 61.5, Younghoe Koo of the Falcons over 1.5 field goals, Achane 5+ receptions at plus 160 on Bet365, and then Bucky Irving 4.5 unit, the backup running back for the Bucks, over 27.5 rush yards. There's that plus 605 ladder parlay, 2 legs of the 2 guys we talked about up top. and then the anytime touchdown bets. Again, a quarter unit each, so it's only a 1 unit total. Achane, Montgomery, Pollard, and the rookie Brock Bowers. Man, oh man, I am fired up. Let's have a great Sunday. And also, I will be on the Kyle Kerms live stream before the kickoffs again, talking football, breaking down every single game. So go check us out. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy some football, and we'll talk to you soon.